he can access the roof and regain his freedom.
It started so perfunctory and just like basic beat reporting, and now
Right.
we're in the realm of poetry.
Stick around, make a sound, there's more Dumb People Town.
Guys, do you ever feel like money is just flying out of your account and you have no idea where it's going? Well, look, we know. It's all those subscriptions. So we use Rocket Money to help us find out what subscriptions we're actually spending money on, which ones we're using, which ones we're not. It was eye-opening. And look, we had them cancel the ones that we didn't want anymore.
Stop wasting money you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions. Go to rocketmoney.com/DPT. That's rocketmoney.com/DPT. rocketmoney.com/DPT.
Hey, Townies, welcome to another episode of Dumb People Town. Population, Population Casher.
Yeah.
Casher the third. Are you Moshe Casher the third?
I might be Moshe Kasher, the third appearance on Dumb People.
Hey now, you've been here multiple times because you're just one of the
friend of the show,
friend of ours,
Friend of
one of the
people.
fastest, funniest, best people we know.
and someone I love seeing when we're out. Right?
Yeah.
At the Comedy Store, we just stood among many people and had a beautiful conversation recently one night, and it was so wonderful when you came. When you came and did our show, right? I think.
Yeah, it was so good. We were talking about how you were like an anti-COVID vaccine activist.
Yeah, it's so weird that I've
do
done
all our own
so
research.
much of my own
Yeah.
research.
all our
Yeah.
own research.
Well, because I
Dan
did the
taught
research,
us
I want to
that.
share it.
Yeah, well, you were on stage screaming about it, and it was
And by
very
research,
uncomfortable.
I mean I heard something sometime, and it came my way. So the world's getting dumber, thank God. And
that's good for you,
It's
huh?
great for us. Bad
Business
for the
is
world.
booming.
Bad for the
It'd
world.
be fine if it leveled off. I
It's
think.
bad for the world. It's like we're like the guys at the casino that bet the don't pass line, that bet when people to lose at craps.
You're
Yeah.
shorting the world. You're
We bet
shorting
the
humanity.
dope line on life.
That's the real
This
big
is
short.
the big short right here. So this is the big dumb. So our awesome fans send us stories, and I don't know if we did this the last time you were on, but now each of us get to do a story that we then present to you. Last time I think it was all Dan. Dan's got the first one. Should we jump into one, and then we'll
for sure.
get into what Moshe's got going
Ready?
on?
Also, I forgot to take off my Band-Aids that I realized, and it is probably could have done my own dumb story. So, because people are going to watch this and be like, the fuck's with Daniel's
Dan,
thumbs?
he tried to stop a saw or something.
You're not far off.
What'd
you do?
What did you do, Dan?
So I was using a Julian
Nope.
vegetable cutting machine.
Yes.
Right.
Taking
We all
some
know.
things. Sure. And your thumb went right into
And-
the thing.
It broke off, like the hand, like where it snaps in and you put it over the vegetable and you go, yep, snapped off. So then I was like, oh, I got to put this back on. So I got to put it back on. But in between me saying I got to put this back on and then trying to put it back on, I should have lowered the razor blade and flushed it, so that it doesn't elevate out. And so I'm holding it, trying to put the thing back on.
With both thumbs.
And then it snaps off again while I'm doing it. And as it snaps off, I go like this.
No.
You Julianne yourself.
You Julianne your
Yes.
fingers.
That's called
Both-
a self-Julianne.
It's called a self.
That's called autoerotic Julianne.
It's called a Julianne Leonard.
There was a
That's a Julianne
There was a
Margulies.
portion-
that hurt
A
the
good
lot.
wife.
there was a portion when I was like
the David Carradine of Julianne.
of this experience where I was like one thumb is fuck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Two thumbs is
I
comedy.
can't text.
Two thumbs is hilarious.
Who's got two fucked up thumbs and
I'm like
doesn't know
sitting
how to
there
use
trying
a
to
Julianne?
apply
This guy.
pressure to both thumbs at the same time to get them to stop bleeding, holding them like over my head, and I'm like, this is a fucking.
This is
Two
really
thumbs
a
is
funny
you've
image.
devolved, actually. You're no longer
Yes.
Homo sapien.
Yes.
Yeah, all of the skill of the human.
Unopposable thumbs.
It is the most annoying thing in
I'm
my life
sure,
right now.
Dan.
Those are your
It's-
hitchhiking thumbs. How
Every
dare
time
you?
Dan, how you
all
gonna
my
get to
button fly
Vegas?
jeans, every single one of them.
And you only do button flies. You
Only.
Levi's button
Of
fly
course,
501
you
jeans.
know this
I
about
know,
me.
We all know
It's
it
how you
about
brought
you.
me up last time we did a show.
This guy is the king of the button fly, and he's got great thumbs.
Who's got two that comes and
All right,
cut
Dan,
thumbs?
Two comes. Well, speaking of comes, how's
Thumbs,
that
comes.
going for you
How's
with the
the
thumb
Avian
thing?
Awards?
It's harder. It's harder.
I bet.
Okay.
You have to do it kind of more otter style.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
classic otter eating an oyster style.
I'm
Lobster style.
I'm like a dolphin trying to hold a coffin. Like,
Dan.
okay, here we go.
let's jump in.
Sent in by Ace of Finance at Dragon ILM.
Thank you.
Florida man, this is the headline. Florida man arrested, obviously, after locking himself into Little Caesars that he burglarized.
Yep. Intentional or not intentional?
Locking himself. You mean this is like an
I want
like
all the
Attica
breadsticks.
type thing?
Attica.
Pizza,
feel
pizza.
like-
Dumb.
Dream bigger.
Dream bigger, right?
You know, why Little Caesars?
That's a great point
You
because
had Little Caesars recently?
I'm not saying it's gross. I'm saying it's the cheapest of all food.
Right.
How much money could be in the cash register even on a good night?
$9.99.
but he's like, the money is hot and ready. I don't care about the quality or
Lots of
size
dipping
of the bill.
sauces.
Look, the denomination of the bill is not important to me.
And what do you always say? Like, lock yourself in the store you wish to be in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like if you're right. If you are gonna break into somewhere
It doesn't
and
feel like
risk it
Little
all,
Caesars.
do you want to say it was a Little Caesars?
Do you think he said "et tu" locking door? Guys, this is fun.
Guys,
great.
that's a knife in the back of this guy's attempt. I'll say this about it. I can't believe Little Caesars has locks at all.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
For what?
Yeah.
They'd just be like, look, if you guys want it, just
Hot and
take
ready. You take it.
Take it.
A Florida man dressed only in boxer shorts.
Did he
and-
say, I locked it?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, there you go.
A Florida man dressed
I do
only
a
in
cr-
box.
Just I don't. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but
Please do it.
I do a crazy Little Caesar impression.
Let's hear it.
Well, I don't want to like kind of blow
Wait,
everybody's
no,
mind.
We
do
might
it,
we might
do
end
it.
the show on it.
All right, yeah, okay. We want
No,
to
I'm saying you do it now, and that'll probably.
I
blow
think
us
I'm
up.
fine with that. Can I plug the book, or I'll just do the impression?
We'll
and
just
go?
do
Okay,
we'll
that's
plug
fine.
the book later.
Pizza.
That's
I mean,
so
come on,
good.
guys.
That is so good.
You nailed
Excellent.
It's
I'm
it's almost
hungry.
You
too
have goosebumps?
nasally.
Does anybody have goosebumps? I have goosebumps.
My mouth is watering.
A Florida man dressed only in boxer shorts and socks was arrested after breaking into a Little
Socks?
Caesars and making his way through the drive-through window.
Oh, so he climbed in
Yes.
and then locked the window.
Early Saturday morning, Chad Korn.
Chad Corn.
Corn.
I love Chad corn. That's my favorite popcorn snack.
You know it's spelled Korn.
I wish. I
gotta
mean,
be.
that's how he signs it, but it's
that's
legal
right.
C.
Chad Corn.
Chad Korn is the Little Caesars of names.
Chad Corn. When I grew up in Iowa, and that was what we treat we had every Halloween.
Yes.
Chad Corn.
Yeah, we'd gather around the Chad
Gather
Corn
around
and
the
tell
Chad
scary
Corn.
stories.
Early Saturday morning, Chad
He is
Korn.
literally a child of the corn.
Chad Korn of Milton, Florida, decided to check the door to the Little Caesars on Navy Boulevard. Oh, he found the door unlocked. So he went through.
The drive.
Oh, I think drive-through window might not being the way he gets out.
Yes,
Yeah.
sure.
He found the door unlocked. The burglar then decided he had the skills necessary to pull off a daring mid-morning heist.
How many times did he punch the cash register to see if it would open up?
He
Mid-morning.
yelled at it.
Yeah.
Why is
you
Little-
open up.
Why is Little Caesars open mid-morning? Why?
It's not.
Go ahead, Moshe.
Oh,
what were you
just
gonna
the
say?
door was
This is
unlocked?
going to be good. I mean, I
Yes.
can't even believe we moved past it.
Yeah.
He punches the cash register and says, "The crust is stuffed. Why not the register?"
According to deputies, Korn opened the door and began to gather the goods. First, it was a bottle of water, then
Yes.
two. He couldn't bring himself to pass by a wrapped brownie on the counter, so he grabbed it as well, according
Are they
to
good?
deputies.
Are those Little Caesars brownies good? Good.
The person who wrote this, by the way, began and ended this sentence with "according to deputies."
Okay. So according to deputies.
According to deputies, yada yada yada.
According to deputies. Great.
Deputies
dumb,
say
too.
Korn made his way through the store and notices an employee's apron. He placed the apron around his waist to complete his outfit. Don't
Well,
clock in.
I will say this: corn makes its way through everyone.
And he
knows
just
it.
winds up going out the back door. It fully intact.
I love that he wanted an apron.
But this guy is not, I would say, a master criminal. He
No.
stole 2 bottles of water and a brownie.
Brownie.
So far.
And an apron.
And an
so
apron.
far.
Okay, right. Sorry.
I mean, an apron is like a certain upgrade to what he's wearing. Boxers and socks.
Yes, I agree. Also, and even though it's Florida, to me, the socks are wet.
Yeah, I get
Soaking
that.
wet
Always
and
wet.
annoying.
They
yeah.
started
Yes.
white and they're brown.
They're swamp
on the bottom.
socks.
Couldn't bring himself to go past the brownie. He grabbed that. He already had the water. On his way through the store, he noticed the apron. He put that around his waist to complete his outfit. Sure. There's something about boxer shorts, tube socks, and a corporate-inspired apron that must have empowered the burglar. Well, we got a real writer on our hands here.
According to deputies.
With his collection of stolen items, he makes his way to the door. This is where the poorly planned escapade begins to unravel. You see, the door from which he had just entered was now locked.
Right.
The door that door failed to lock for employees, but now worked to perfection. He had locked himself inside.
How much do you think, like, in that moment when it locked, he thought, I'm someone's gimp now for the next long period
Or
of
he
time?
thinks, I've got my own house.
Yeah.
I live at
here.
this little
I
city.
live here.
Also, there has to be a handwritten note under the list of things to do when closing up Little Caesars. It says, the door doesn't always work. Make sure you check it.
That's right.
Right?
Written
Because
in
of this.
pepperoni.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So Dan, it probably almost all the way shut.
Exactly.
But didn't quite go all the way in. But
just
he made
engaged.
sure he slammed it shut.
Of course. Yeah, he cares.
Yeah.
Desperate to escape, he finds through the darkness of pizza's past. Wow.
What?
A dimly lit
Whoa.
opportunity.
Tennessee
A
Williams
dimly
over
lit
here.
opportunity. I know.
He wonders, ellipses, if he can get past the suspended ceiling tiles, he can access the roof and regain his freedom.
It's freedom.
Okay, all of a sudden, this is the story of Andy.
I don't think he'll ever
I know.
be
I was like,
free.
this is Shawshank.
Yeah, it started so perfunctory and just like basic beat reporting, and now
Right.
we're in the realm of poetry.
Now we're like
Yes.
the Underground Railroad of sorts.
He climbs onto an oven so he can pry the tiles free. He pops up through a hole and climbing higher, he
I
begins
love that
to
this
struggle.
is all in present tense. Like
Yeah.
it's very literary.
This is prose.
Yeah.
This is what's that movie, that short story from the 80s? It's all in third person or second person.
Okay.
Bright Lights, Big City.
Okay,
That's
there
what
you go.
this
Oh,
is.
I'm not familiar.
God.
He climbs the oven.
yeah.
He grabs the cocaine.
I am Chad Korn's anger from childhood. He reaches far and farther still. His weight begins to stress the tiles. Failure. Sensing this, he reaches for a group of wires to help stabilize
Always.
his squirm.
Always.
If you are a Florida man in wet socks, grab the wires.
Yeah.
Especially if you're over the
wires.
grease of
Yeah,
the thing.
grab the wires.
Grab a
guys.
wire.
This is the craziest way to tell us what's happening. So, to break it down, he can't get back out through the door. He climbs
Gets
up
on the
on.
oven.
I'm sorry.
tries-
I don't mean to interrupt you. Would you mind not gesturing with your disgusting thumbs while you tell this story?
Jesus,
It's like
Dan.
it's taking me out of the literary stylings of Chad Korn's
I'll
views.
just do tour guide hand gestures. So, what we're gonna do? He climbs up onto the oven,
Tries to get through
gets
the
up into the tiles. Tiles start to give way.
Yeah.
Sure.
He grabs wires.
Grabs wires.
Surrounded by disintegrating tiles and loosely bound wires, he falls all the way to the ground. He lands on a tumbled heap of wires, broken ceiling tiles, and hurt feelings. I did not write this.
Did say hurt feelings.
This is 100%
Oh my
what
God.
this
This
person
is
wrote.
unbelievable.
With stars circling his head. This is
And that did
I
not
swear-
happen.
With stars circling his head like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
When little birds chirping.
With stars circling his head, he gathers his senses and stands.
A beautiful woman walks by. His tongue falls out of his mouth. Like he says, "Auga."
The aroma of a pie in a windowsill, like a finger, pulls him towards it.
But as he goes to snatch the pie, an anvil, seemingly from out of nowhere, falls on his head.
But then it changes again. The woman walks in. The ding of the bell can be heard. It switches again. I heard her the moment she walked in.
Now we're in noir.
Yeah.
This is actually noir. This is Florida
is
noir.
noir.
Florida Noir.
Noir.
Yeah.
Florida Noir could be the new name of this podcast. Florida Noir. That's
She walked
so
in.
good.
I was smoking meth out of a light bulb. All legs and scabs.
I thought I'd never see those crazy eyes again.
I said, sit right
And it
there.
was true because she checked herself into rehab the next day.
Take a seat in that Target shopping cart.
I said, you can poop anywhere you like.
If you're thirsty, there's cold Mountain Dew in the icebox.
She was my sister and my cousin.
Okay, with stars circling his head, he gathers his senses and stands. At about this time, the alarm begins to sound. He panics and hurries towards the drive-through window.
He pulled the alarm cord.
That's right.
As he makes his way, the phone begins to ring.
Oh my
Little
God.
Caesars kind of help you.
Now he's making orders. He's got to get shit out.
Okay, I'm going to make this, but I have to go. So if you're not going to pick it up,
The cops are on the way.
He's on the line.
It's not hot and ready yet.
oh, yes, I'm going to have to write your credit card number down, though.
This is what makes it a comedy if he starts filling the orders.
Yes. And feeling like
Oh,
overwhelmed
the
by his
overwhelmed
side
guys.
work.
Why did we not get all the Parmesan cheese out?
Oh, no. Who could it be calling at this hour? Someone should answer the phone. I did not bolster any of this writing. Someone should answer the phone. And Korn is that someone?
Oh, God.
For a reason only Korn knows.
Chad Korn, can I help you?
Chad Korn Industries, former little
Chad
Caesars.
Korn, hang on one second. Chad Korn, hang on one second. Chad.
This is Chad Korn.
Go for Chad. Go for Chad. Hold. Go for Chad.
Or he starts answering like agencies do in town. I have Chad Korn for you. Can you hold for a second?
That was the best. I will say probably my favorite moment in BoJack Horseman. The agent calls BoJack.
Yes.
And he said, "I have so and so for you." And he said, "Okay, I'll take it." And he said, and then the assistant is like, "Let me see if I can get it." It's so funny.
It's so inside.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, it is
so
like
true.
for who is this joke? For us.
Yes.
Literally
It's
for the
FUBU.
four Let me
of
see if
us.
I can get her. All right.
For a reason only Korn knows, he answers the phone. The conversation would lead to a level of guilt our burglar had heretofore not considered.
Heretofore.
Yes.
Oh my
The
God.
guilt would cause him to grab a receipt and leave a note. Satisfied, our burglar heads back to the drive-thru window. At this point,
But what has he done? He's taken a brownie and
A
2
brownie
bottles
and
of
2
water
waters.
and an apron, and a
By the way,
ride
and a-
upstairs.
He fucked the roof up. I guess.
Yeah, he fucked the roof.
Screwed
up.
some wires up.
At this point, he's been in the store long enough to qualify for employee of the month, and he dressed for it. This
All right.
person wants out of their job.
Yeah, and let's stop with the roast jokes. Chad Korn's had it hard enough.
That's right.
He finally
Have
calls.
you ever had roasted corn though? It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I used to have it in Iowa, of course.
Chad a la Corn. He finally crawls out of the drive-thru window and into the parking lot. Little Caesars with a parking lot. Never seen that in my life.
Never.
Well, I think one. Only to come face to face with Deputy Jonathan Hill.
According to him.
Yes.
We now have 6 paragraphs about Jonathan Hill. Born in 1965, Jonathan
A mountain
Hill.
of a man. Hill stood before this person.
This was the final battle between Hill and Korn, the Hill Korn fight.
Deputy Jonathan Hill
his things don't amount to a hill of corn.
and the green uniform of justice.
Oh, wow.
Green?
In Florida, these cops have green uniforms.
They are green.
They
in
are green.
Florida.
Yeah.
That's right.
Struggling to explain his appearance, he is placed under arrest. Korn is charged with burglary exceeding $1,000 in damages and petite theft.
Is it petite?
P-E-T-I-T.
Petite theft.
Petite
theft.
Oh,
Wait,
wow.
so this
That's what the French call
should
that
be
when you almost have an orgasm.
Right.
The petite theft.
Yeah.
so this reporter is writing this as if he or she is witnessing it in process. Right.
At one point,
We are in process,
There's
right?
multiple different
No one was there,
first
but this
persons
reporter
or eyes
put
of the story.
themselves
This is
there.
the real Rashomon tale.
We will get out of here on this. How old is Chad Korn?
Oh.
Here's what you know. It's mid-morning,
Yeah.
which I can only assume they mean noon to noon, so 6 a.m.
So, yeah, definitely like
Because
Early,
somebody's
5
at a
a.m.
Little Caesars by
I think
10.
it's 5 a.m. I think it's still dark
Right.
out.
But we're
So-
trying to figure out the age
Right,
of,
so I'm
of the
saying. So I'm
corn.
trying to give us context of what we know about this guy. It's a mid-morning, right?
Which means it was his night.
Could be
that
3,
never
could be
ended.
4, could be
Okay.
5. Socks and boxers.
Yeah.
Wanted an apron. Wanted 2 bottles of
Socks
water.
and boxers could be the name.
Possibly we needed to hydrate. True.
I think you should, honestly, and this is a real pitch, I think you should rename the podcast Chad Korn.
Chad Korn or
Yeah.
Petite Theft. I
Yeah.
mean, either or.
the Corn Chronicles.
The Korn Chronicles of Florida Noir.
Chad Korn and he don't care. Okay.
52 years old.
52. Took a brownie,
that
took an
is my
apron, took
age.
a ride
I would say-
upstairs, crawled out of a drive-through window,
He is
answered
31.
the phone, left a note.
31.
31.
You don't leave a note if
46.
you're in your 20s.
46?
46. A younger man would have nimbly found a way through the roof.
To end story 1, before Jason takes over story 2, plus we hear plugs from me and from Moshe.
About his amazing book.
I will tell you this. Chad Korn is 35 years old.
Wow.
Over here.
Younger than
Randy
I
He can't have a
Starr.
baby. He's literally in the area where he shouldn't have a baby.
But could
anymore.
be president.
All right,
Yeah, he
good.
could be president.
Could
He might be president.
He might.
Honestly, the way things are going,
President of
he
my
could
heart.
be president.
He
Chad
wouldn't
Korn?
be the worst option.
Chad Korn running for president?
Mar-a-Lago 2 is now just a Little Caesars in
That's
Madison,
right.
Florida.
He's holding court down there. He's got documents under the wires.
All right, Sklar Lago is coming up after the break, and we find out about Moshe's new book that you
yeah.
must pick up.
I'm very excited to read this. We'll be right back with more Dumb People Town with Moshe Kasher right after this.
Stick around, make a sound. There's more Dumb People Town.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Very excited to be here. I hope you did something fun in the break. Before we get to talking about this lovely book right here, Daniel, I know you just did Pen Pals at Sketchfest. I know that when we're recording this, I know that was really fun, but you got stuff on the horizon.
I do. My movie's out. Wine Club is out right now.
Heard the screening was amazing, and I'm sorry we were out of town to see it.
And I'm sorry I wasn't invited or thought of in any way.
I'm sorry you weren't invited or thought of either.
Well, you can watch it now too, because where can people watch
Apple
it?
TV,
Wherever you stream anything you want to rent, it's available.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah. It's absolutely great. Steve Little's in it. Taylor Ortega's in it. A whole bunch of really good people.
Dan is the lead, motherfuckers.
The lead, baby.
I am. It's these people elope and then go to a winery and find out it's a cult run by a former child TV star who's played by Steve Little.
Hilarious.
It's wonderful.
Great.
Super fun.
Yes.
Go to danielvankirk.com too. You can just click a link right there. You can also see all of my dates. I will be the first weekend, I think 8th, 9th, I'm in DC. I have other dates coming out as well. In May, I'll be in Wisconsin. And my special, Rose Gold, drops on April 17th. So go to danielvankirk.com.
We will make a nice push for that. I'm looking at this gorgeous book, Moshe Kasher.
I love the cover.
Subculture Vulture. Great name for the book. What can people expect with this? It's out. Where can they get it? Talk to us.
It is. I'm super proud of it. It's like the thing that I sold over the pandemic that kept me alive and afloat. It's a memoir. It's like my second memoir, actually, but it's kind of a concept memoir. It's like a trip through the 6 subcultures that have created the DNA of my life. So those are Alcoholics Anonymous. I got sober when I was 15 years old. I've been sober ever since, but I did slowly make my way out of it.
You're one of the few at Burning Man that goes completely sober.
I'm the designated art car driver.
God bless you, man.
Hasidic Judaism and Judaism. My father was a born-again Hasid. After my parents split, he became immersed in the world of Hasidic Judaism, and I spent my summer vacations cosplaying as an extra from Fiddler on the Roof.
Thank you.
While being a Oakland Public School secular kid the rest of the year.
And building a tunnel under the city.
That's right.
What an interesting dynamic.
It was quite a dynamic.
To put that cloak on and then not even put it on, but then also take it off.
Oh, it was wild. I mean, it was. I would literally get picked up at the airport, driven to the Hasidic Jewish barber shop. The barber would kind of grunt at me and try to turn my California bowl cut into like a old world tradition, like side locky haircut, put slacks on and a yarmulke, and I would go into the old country where all the kids spoke Yiddish as a first language. The dodgeball games in Seagate were the ultra-Orthodox kids versus the actually religious kids. I mean, it was that stark. We were the non-Jew. They called us Goy. We were wearing yarmulkes, and they would scream Goy at us.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah. Wow.
Which version of you felt more you as you were finding your identity? When did you? Was it in California?
In comedy.
Or did you feel like you were? I guess you said that one felt like cosplay. So maybe you answered your question. I apologize.
No, I would say that the Judaism stuff and the that's World 3. Deafness and sign language interpreting. My family, all of my family, my father, my mother, my cousins,
which
my
we've told you this,
half brothers, all deaf.
We had 2 really close friends growing up, the Molmans, Randy and Scott Molman, who we played sports with, whose parents were both deaf.
Parents deaf.
I love these people so much. They came to our games. So like we had a deep window into that world. Like we knew someone who grew up with 2 parents who were deaf, and we were close with these people. So
and
like,
both the kids.
They read lips, though.
It's such a weird thing to be born into a deaf family because you are simultaneously a member of the culture and a member of the opposition party.
Right.
It's like being born white in Wakanda.
Right.
And you're a citizen of Wakanda, but you also represent the enemy.
Right.
So all of those swirling.
But even those 2 out of those 6, you are straddling 2 worlds.
I was a straddler, and I that's probably why I ended up going to AA eventually, because the truth is, what I found the first time I got high when I was 12 years old was that all that weird difference that I felt that made me feel like a sore thumb. Oh, I'm so sorry to say sore thumb.
Stuck out like 2.
It all went away, but it went away so starkly and so hard that by the time I was 15, I'd been in and out of rehab 3 times. I've been in mental institutions, arrested more times than I could count. Flunked 9th grade 3 times, was assailed with oppositional defiant disorder diagnoses, ADD, conduct disorder, depression, learning disabilities, all that stuff. And I hit rock bottom bottom and at 15, which is a strange thing to do.
My
still
son is
developing.
15. My son is 15.
And he's at rock bottom.
Yeah, he was born at
for a
rock
different
bottom.
reason.
He
Born at
rock
looked up,
bottom?
he goes, Daddy,
Started
no.
from the He's the bane of that
And he said his
family.
parents are both DEF.
Yeah, well, actually, I don't know if you know this, but I'm about to do a very bad joke from my early.
I just made one.
please.
from my early years of comedy.
Please,
You ready
my
for
love.
this?
Let's hear it.
Well, my mom has always loved and supported my dream of being a comedian. And so much so that she was really supportive. Even though she could never hear my comedy, she would come to some of my early shows. And she would bring like jars of homemade preserves and jellies, and she would sell them outside of the club to like support me going on the road. And
I see where this is
the
going.
weird. You do see where this is going. This is weird that you're able to actually track this joke.
I see it.
Well, the thing about it is, at a certain point, her thing, the preserves she was selling, they took on a life of their own, and they actually got, I would say, more famous than even me
Sure.
and
The
and
comedy,
Mom.
right.
You guys familiar with? Maybe you've heard of it?
They were sold at the Apollo.
That's right. You guys know about Def Comedy Jam, right?
Sure, I
got it. Def Comedy Jam, yeah, I've heard it.
Well, you
right.
walked so far around the cul-de-sac. for
What
that
was
one.
so cool is that your mom wasn't the only person who experienced total silence while you were doing comedy.
Your crowds did as well, folks.
But people are going to kill us if you don't say what are the other ones.
Okay, so
Can I guess? Can I
yes, you
guess?
can guess.
Okay.
Stand-up
So
comedy.
you had Hasidic or Judaism, AA,
and yes.
Yep, Def.
AA, Judaism, music. Definitely music is in there.
Well,
right?
raves. When
raves.
I
Raves.
was about 9 months sober, I realized I was 15. I had the rest of my life in front of me, and I wanted to like find a way to have a
Fun.
teenage
Yes,
fun.
yes,
And
yes.
I randomly bought a ticket to a rave, and I walked into this warehouse in Oakland by myself, clean and sober, like 9 months, 16 years old, and had as close to a Jesus in the desert moment as you can have.
Yes.
Wasn't that beautiful that you realized that you didn't need the drugs and the alcohol
is
to have
such a high
like
off of
you
a
just
group.
probably like I just opened a door and unlocked a whole new thing.
Doors are in some ways the theme of the book. It is about what I make this analogy to like the books I liked reading when I was a kid were like Narnia and Harry Potter is one.
sure,
although I
sure.
wasn't young
There's
when I
like
read that.
a thing that opens up to another world.
Exactly. You're a weak loser who thinks nobody loves you and you're powerless and just nothing. Something's fundamentally wrong with you. And one day, somebody opens up a door and you walk through it and you go, not only am I in a new universe, but I have superpowers.
I'm the hero.
king.
I'm the hero.
I'm a king here.
So okay, so rave, comedy, definitely
Yes,
stand-up
stand-up comedy.
in the world of stand-up comedy. And is Burning Man the other one?
Well, at about a year into going to raves, I heard there was a rave in the desert. This is 1996, and that was enough to get me to jump into a car and drive 6 hours in the middle of nowhere to something I did not know what I was doing or where I was going. And I got there in 96, 16 years old, and I stepped out of my car and I go, I don't know what this is, but this is not a rave. And this is when Burning Man was what it was supposed to be.
Right,
1,000
way back in
people,
the
2,000.
purest
It was-
early days of what it is on
It
the
was
beach
7,000.
somewhere. Yeah.
It was in Black Rock City, but it was dangerous. Two
Yeah.
people died. There was a guy that was dead before I got there. There were drive-by shooting ranges. People were getting run over in their cars. I was 16, and my mind was absolutely blown.
Sure.
And last year was my 24th time going. I worked at Burning Man for 15 years. I have seen how the psychedelic sausage is stuffed. I've seen it change from, as they say, a place where weird people used to go to feel normal to a place where normal people go to feel weird.
That's right.
And now I am 44 years old and looking back on all of these worlds, and in each of these segments I tell a history. It's not just my story, it's the story of the world. So it's one part
can't wait to
history,
read this.
one part comedy, one part memoir, and I'm very proud of it.
So let me ask you two questions
should
about
be.
it. One, people should buy the book just because books are important.
And you're
Two,
supporting one of our friends who is a phenomenal writer and comedian.
Two, if someone is like, I have a hard time reading, I don't have time in my life, I don't know how to do it, they should get the audiobook because I'm assuming you read it, you did the audio.
Actually, I'm going to hook your listeners up and say I'm going to read from page 1 the entire book on this episode of Dumb
Sounds
People's Town.
great.
And you don't even have to buy the
No,
book.
I want you to buy it or buy the
This is a
audio.
terrible idea.
Or
This
buy
is a terrible
the.
idea.
You read the audiobook.
I read the audiobook.
So I want you to do one of the two. This is your way to support comedians. Like comics like us are creating material, Dan's special, something like this. This is how you support comedians like us, and this is how we get to do more things like
I'm
this.
just excited. If I
can't
didn't
wait.
know you, I would want to read this.
You're
book.
doing a tour of it?
I am doing a tour. I leave on the 30th. I'll be in Austin and then DC and then New York, San Francisco, Portland and Los Angeles. Everything is on my website, moshekasher.com, MOSHE.
Go watch him read and then buy the book when he comes.
Get him
I
to
will
sign
say
it.
this: the book is funny and the book is super interesting and informative, but it's also really emotional, and I put a lot of myself into it. And it's really a story about looking back and realizing that only in hindsight can you see like the sort of glowing path of destiny, and maybe destiny's random and a bullshit concept, or maybe it's actually like a mystical concept. But looking back and realizing that I was always sort of headed here. I was always headed to Dumb People Town.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were.
If I hadn't gone through all these iterations, I wouldn't have met my wife. I wouldn't have started comedy. I wouldn't have my career. I wouldn't have my daughter.
We saw that happen.
Yeah.
We watched that whole thing happen as friends of both of you guys. Oh my God, this is
Subculture
I
Vulture.
cannot wait to read this. Subculture Vulture. Pick it up, listen to the audiobook. Go see him live on the tour, moshacasher.com, and you can like see if he's coming to a city near you.
Heck yeah.
Go see him and go up and say, hey, I heard you on Dumb People Town. I love that you're here, and this is it. Jay, jump into the
All
story.
right, I got another person who was destined to be in Dumb People.
Let's
Town
hear it.
right here.
Okay.
Sent in by Jake Croney at Jake Croney.
Thanks, Jake.
Woman in pink dress steals tractor, Florida cops say, and then it got weird.
What?
So, all right.
Sure. She's kind of a Princess Peach Mario Kart situation.
Or Barbie just continued. Barbie extended.
Why not? Barbie the farmer? Farmer Barbie?
Farmer Barbie. FarmerBarbie.com.
A woman wearing a pink dress is accused of carrying out a series of odd thefts in a rural Florida community, one of which involved riding off on someone's, and we'll do a guessing game right now,
Tractor.
John Deere tractor. How much was this tractor?
How much was it
dude.
worth?
Yeah.
I'm
tractor
going to
she
go
stole.
last.
You think you know?
Well, I have a general idea of
Okay,
the cost
let's
of
hear it.
farm
I'm gonna
equipment.
go 12K.
$12K.
Oh, I'm gonna say like $38,000.
250,000.
No, really? It's like that?
It depends on the tractor.
Yeah.
$1.
$1? Okay. Get your answers in. This John Deere tractor cost $120,000.
Wow, you were close.
Dan,
you were
on
on the right
track.
direction.
Yeah.
Damn.
According to
It's on the
Polk
It's like a
County
fire truck.
Dude,
No, fire trucks are $1 million.
the cost of you guys know what a combine is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a grindy thing. It's the kind of thing
Yeah,
you
it has
put
the
your
long
thumbs
arms.
into.
It has the long
and
arms.
it
You would
just
run
tilts.
up and put both
I'd be
thumbs
like,
into one.
"Ah, harvest me, harvest me.
Ted Corn, Ted Corn.
Chad Corn.
The price on those is like
Crazy.
I think like 600,000.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
they're in. I mean,
They make your life easy.
You have to combine incomes in order
really
to
have to
afford
do
one.
it is.
It's all in the book. All right. Why this woman wanted the tractor is unclear, but detectives note that it was not the strangest thing taken during the spree. Bed sheets.
Yeah.
Bed sheets.
Hey, while you're out,
Hey, man.
Hey.
It's hard to find a good fitted sheet.
linen,
And man. Blue jeans.
baby.
Is she from Russia?
Toiletries.
Sure. That makes
Toiletries.
sense. That makes sense.
A single used apron from a local little.
Wait a minute, Chad.
3 Q-tips. All right. Camouflage wading boots.
Those are just shoes in Florida, to
Right?
be fair.
That could be
100
like,
that's
I'm
100
going out to the
it's
club tonight. You wearing your
$120,000.
wading boots?
Yeah, you go to a Foot Locker in Florida, it's just all hip
I do
hugger
this
wading boots.
Every year, at this point, only for myself, when I am up at my family's little cabin in Wisconsin, it is quite popular for men and women to wear camo everywhere they go.
they go.
And
They wanna blend in.
There is just at some point in the night where I'm like, all these floating heads. Like I try to give them shit about wearing camo,
That's right.
and no one ever thinks it's funny.
No, but they don't.
Dan, you know what you need to start saying is when you see people, thank you for your service in Desert Storm. I appreciate everything you did.
Excuse
was
me.
it Desert Shield?
Shield.
It was Shield,
It was
not
Shield.
Storm?
It was
Okay, thank
Shield.
you. Bed sheets, blue jeans, toiletries, camouflage wading boots, several packages of
Are
frozen.
you reading We Didn't Start the Fire?
Bed sheet,
Toiletries and camouflage wading boots and several packages of frozen venison. And
Wait, is that real?
yeah, several
Venison.
packages of frozen venison.
That's a good pull,
That's a
actually.
great pull.
Such a good lean
You
meat.
need to wrap it in the
Oh,
sheets.
I love
and a
venison.
bottle of wine.
And a bottle of wine.
This
Bottle
is
of
a party.
red.
Yeah,
Wait, there's a sheet. There's a sheet. There's a meal.
So in case there's a
an
Hasidic
aperitif.
couple needs to have sex, there's the sheet.
Wait a second.
Yes.
Did you just say a case a Hasidic couple needs to have sex through a sheet?
Yes.
In my book. Sorry to derail.
Go,
the
Why?
baby,
podcast.
go.
This is the whole
In
show.
my
We could-
book.
The
You
show's
talk about having sex through a
called
sheet.
Derail Town.
In my book, Subculture Vulture, I deal with the nasty rumor that is so pervasive in the Jewish world that some Jews believe it about Hasidic Jews, which is this rumor that we have sex through a sheet. And it is not true.
Okay.
Why would it be true?
I
Why
don't
would
know.
they do such a thing?
I don't
but
know.
But here is the origin of that rumor.
Let's hear it.
In ancient times, in pre-war Europe, Jews and non-Jews would live in a village together. But
Honestly, which war? The first or second?
Let's say pre-World War I.
Okay.
All the time.
1800s.
Wherever we are, we're in the Pale of Settlement. Jews and non-Jews are kind of living in villages side by side.
Yes.
They don't have dryers, and they do it old school style. Their laundry, they will hang it from a line in the yard. And the non-Jewish children, and Jews wear this thing called a talis, but it's called a tzitzi, which is it's like a prayer garb with a hole for your head. You've seen these before, right?
It almost looks like a penny if you're playing pickup basketball.
A penny?
They call those pennies.
Oh,
you put them
yes,
over your head.
exactly. That's right.
You're right.
So it's got a hole for your head. You put it over your head. So they would launder their little prayer garment, and they would put it on their laundry line. And little non-Jewish children would walk by the yard of the Jewish families and see hanging from the laundry line a big square sheet with a hole in the middle, and think the only logical thing you think when you see a square of cloth, they go, somebody's fucking through that piece of cloth.
Glory to God hole.
Gotta be.
And
it became such a pervasive myth that Jews believe it about themselves.
I said it today.
People say it to me when I say my family was Hasidic. They go, "Oh, they fucked through a sheet.
fuckers.
Did you know that?" And I go, "Yeah, tell me about it."
Yeah,
that's why my dad's not allowed within 70 feet of a Bed Bath and Beyond.
That's right. That's the Beyond.
Yes, that's the joke. Before he got there, it was just called Bed and Bath.
What culture were you living in when you lost your virginity?
Oh, I lost my virginity not in Seagate. I lost my virginity in Oakland.
Okay. I assumed, but it would be wild if it was.
I did it through a do-rag.
Oaktown, represent. All right. The woman is also accused of sleeping in one of the victims' bed. Is she a modern-day Goldilocks?
She is.
She is. This is it.
Pinky locks.
It is a fun concept to think of Goldilocks as just really, really methed out.
That's our bit.
Is that right?
Yes.
We're doing each other's bits psychically today. This
We
is
have
crazy.
the bit. Our bit. The premise of our bit is that fairy tales read like police blotters in the state of Florida.
Funny. That's great.
If you were to put the phrase "a Florida man" or "a Florida woman" in front of the plot of a fairy tale, it totally works. Florida woman breaks into a house, eats their food, breaks a chair, is found passed out in the kid's bed.
That's incredible.
Goldilocks.
Are you guys going to do that? Or can I do it?
No,
Can I start doing it now? I can do it. Oh, I can do it, Daniel. That's
Dan,
awesome.
stop giving permission.
That's awesome. All right, that's cool. Hey, come see me on my book tour. I'm going to
Hang
do
on,
all
don't
this
do
stuff.
that. Hang on a minute.
We're performing at the same club where Carlos Mencia is performing weeks before. I think he might take the bet. Okay. At last count, the suspect was facing.
This is exhausting. The things
the amount of things she did.
She's doing that's just to carry around.
I mean, I know it's probably drug fueled, but I always get weird when we have a story where someone makes me feel bad about what I've gotten done in a day.
Yeah, I can do one podcast.
This woman does more.
She's multitasking.
She's on the lam. She's got an entire
multiple
wardrobe and a
errands.
meal and a meal with
She's on the lam
high-end
in
game.
Frozen Land.
and
She
took
probably
time
stole
to
some
rest.
Frozen
And
Land.
took time to rest. I mean,
She's facing what? How many misdemeanors and how many felonies with more possible?
Oh my God.
How many misdemeanors?
misdemeanors 15.
I was going to go 16. I'll go 16.
16. How many felonies?
I'll go 9 on the misdemeanors. I'll go 11 felonies.
I'm going to go 2 felonies.
I'm going to go 20 felonies.
This is what is shocking. Randy, you're in the right track. 3 misdemeanors and a whopping 35 felonies.
I mean, come on. Why? It shouldn't be any.
It should
should
be
just
none.
be you're released. Go to rehab.
Right.
Right.
Or let's see
35 felonies for taking a tractor and some jeans?
So someone who's taking jeans and Venice and stuff like that, I think the cops should be like, let's just release her and see what she does next.
Yeah, let's release her with a
kinda
bow
wanna
and
know what-
arrow.
I mean, to be fair, unless you haven't gotten to it, she hasn't done anything violent.
No, she's not a
She's
threat.
not hurt any other person.
No, she's
like
just-
this is sort of like, to me, it should be 1 felony if you're going to ring her up.
Tell that
Like,
to the deer community.
Criminal mischief.
They're like, that's my uncle in there.
they were cut up when I got here, man.
Your uncle's in the jeans?
Investigators say crimes occurred May 6th in the Kathleen area, about 30 miles northeast of Tampa. A neighbor was the first to report something suspicious after seeing a female in a pink dress was driving a tractor in
Why
the
do they
area.
keep bringing up the pink dress?
Because you don't imagine a woman, and this is maybe our problem. We need to break through the stereotype. A woman in a pink dress driving a tractor. Someone's like, my receptors are up. She's probably not doing work.
Are we all picturing a maxi?
What do you mean?
Like a long dress?
Oh,
No,
long dress.
I'm
You call that a
imagining like a
maxi?
short,
maxi dress? Yeah.
Interesting.
a dress that looks like a double-breasted,
type of long
oversized
jacket.
I'm
not like-
thinking of almost a nightgown.
Sure.
like a sheer all near
Right,
near
yeah.
nightgown.
But
you
none
know?
of us are going like
Satin.
shimmery cocktail.
No,
Maybe.
no, not fancy. That would be nice. On the way to Mar-a-Lago type of situation. I like the idea. I like the idea that they reported the neighbor reported something suspicious. I would like to be on that 911 call. Like, I see something suspicious. Well, what is it?
She's at it
It's
again.
a 6'2" blonde woman in a pink dress on a
Pink
John
dress.
Deere tractor with venison.
We're on
Sir,
it. We're
pink
on
dress, say no more.
We're on our way.
Woman in
Just
pink
called
back. Women on pink dress on tractor. Which one? All right. It's not often you see a woman stealing a John Deere tractor while wearing a pink dress. The sheriff's office wrote on Facebook.
Sure,
Of course.
Obviously, they're going
Why
to.
They like
do
to
these
test
police-
all other material.
Why do these police departments do this like social media trolling?
I don't know.
Because they
My
love
favorite
it.
is when they go, "You can't make this stuff up," and it's like, "You can make it up." Or they're like, "You'll never believe it." I go, "I will. You just said it happened."
Yeah.
You can't make this up, and you also can't plant evidence. You did that, though. Yeah.
Right. They're like, "You can't make this up." I'm like, "Have you never seen the movie The Cell? You can make it up, dude."
No, you know what's crazy is like I wonder if they check their Facebook posts and be like, how many likes?
How many likes? did I
Gary,
get on
likes
that?
did that
For
get?
sure they do.
I'm curious.
Guaranteed.
We're getting a lot of likes on it, and I think it's because you said you can't make this up.
They found a farm property manager managed to detain the suspect when the tractor, a nice big John Deere model,
Not a farmer.
6120R, stalled. The sheriff's office said. Then deputies arrived and arrested her. They found the woman had a knife with a how many inch blade on it.
She lives in Florida. She hasn't tried to use the knife.
No, the knife is just on
all
the
the things she's
accessory
done.
in Florida,
all
a
that she's
knife.
done, and nobody said used her knife to blank.
That's just a gator gutter right there.
Exactly.
That ain't nothing
I'm
but a
a
gator gutter.
15-inch blade.
I'm gonna go 7.
9.
5-inch blade.
Wow.
Okay.
Along with
Small knife.
Wow. so
along
big.
with
No, that's good.
Really
It
big,
is.
long,
No,
long,
that's-
girthy too.
she had the 5-inch blade along with other people's credit debit cards,
Okay.
social
Fine.
security cards,
Fine.
a driver's license,
This one's got everything.
and a dental plan card.
Okay, she deserves the 35 felonies.
That's meth, right? Meth is like, I need to
dental
fix these
plan.
damn teeth.
Good for her, though.
Yeah, she's trying to get her life together.
Proactive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Proactive.
The suspect became irate when deputies attempted to put her in a patrol car. The sheriff's office said she kicked and cursed at deputies and even made a death threat or two to
Yeah,
them.
this is what happens when you run a cult, but no one joins.
right.
You're your own cult.
Yeah, you're everything. All right. Charges in the case include grand theft.
Of course.
Burglary of an
Grand theft
unoccupied
tractor.
dwelling.
Yep.
Unoccupied dwelling, so no one's
Wearing a pink dress.
Wearing a pink
unlawful
dress on a tractor.
possession.
Yeah.
Pink dress.
Being a lady on a John Deere tractor.
Possession of a concealed
It's
weapon.
not Jane Deere.
And battery.
This is
on
what
a-
happens when drag queens start reading stories to your kids. Pretty
that's
soon, you
what's
got a
gonna
lady
be.
on a pink dress on a John Deere
You're-
tractor.
You're joking, but that's
What is it? It's not a pride tractor. There you go.
There you
That's
go.
the story. There
Oh
you go.
my gosh.
Good Lord, good Lord. Wait, do you guys even like? It's not even funny anymore when it says Florida at the beginning.
Oh
of the
no,
story.
we're
It's
like
just
we're in for it.
Yeah,
We're in for it.
Just,
Yeah.
It is. It's just
right.
standing.
It doesn't
standing.
even stick out.
I'm a gigantic apologist for Florida. I love Florida. I think it's cool. I mean, listen,
Do you
politically,
hang in Florida?
I just think it's a beautiful state.
So I've been to Western Florida, and my wife's stepfather and mom lived in Sanibel, and it was like it's one of my favorite places to
It's
go. in the
gorgeous.
world. Gorgeous.
St. Pete, Miami. I mean, I love to go to Miami.
Let's name more cities.
I love
never
to go
been.
to Miami. I do cocaine for a week, right? And I just
You're sober.
take my heart.
Hang on a second. You're sober.
Not
Let him go.
Miami.
He's
Not Miami. Miami's home base, baby. I'm fine.
Guess what else I'm not in Miami? Married.
And straight. All right, guys. We'll be
I'm
right
not
back.
Moshe.
We have one more segment, and this is just. Again, it's like everybody. Let's double check things before we assume things.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what this story is about. We'll tell you what we have going on. It's Dumb People Town with Moshe Kasher. I'm holding the book, Subculture Vulture. Pick it up now. Pick it up in the break, or get the audiobook. We'll be right back.
Stick around, make a sound. There's more Dumb People Town.
I don't know about you guys, but like I just went through all the things that I have subscriptions for,
Yes.
and I'm like, why do I have a subscription?
There's
to
at
this?
least 5 you don't.
Why am I paying money for this?
Jay just did it.
I did it with Rocket Money. They helped me because I had tried to cancel this golf subscription that I had to this golf service that was giving me
They wouldn't
like
let you
videos.
go.
It was so hard to get to them and have them respond to me in order to cancel the subscription.
Rocket Money did it.
They just handle it for you. It saves you time. It saves you money. Look, we subscribe to things and we forget about them, and then we want to clean things up. This is how you can clean up your life and help yourself save some money.
So easy.
Money that's flying out the door you don't even realize.
Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, right?
Period.
We just talked about about. They monitor your spending, and it helps lower your bills. Doesn't this all sound awesome?
Brilliant.
When you do it, you can see all your subscriptions in one place. That's what I love. If I see something I don't want, I just cancel it with a tap. That's what Jason just said. I never have to get on the phone with customer service. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members an average of $720 a year with over 500 million in canceled subscriptions.
So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say stop wasting money on things you don't use.
Right.
Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by doing one thing. Go to rocketmoney.com/DPT. It lets them know that we sent you there. That's rocketmoney.com/DPT.
DPT.
One more time. rocketmoney.com/DPT.
Stick around, make a sound. There's more Dumb People Town.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Before we get into it, I'm assuming this one is going to drop soon because this is out and we want to, get this going. We're going to be in Denver at the Great Comedy Works. God bless Comedy Works. We're going to the South Club.
Great
we were
club.
there last time. I love the South Club. It's like a beautiful theater.
The bigger one?
The Landmark one.
First, that story is in the book. First club I ever headlined.
Really?
I remember my agent called me and said, the Denver Comedy Works wants you. And I go, great. Who am I opening for? And he goes, they want you to headline. And I go, what? Oh, yeah. He's like, do you have 45 minutes? I go,
of course.
Yes.
And then get off the phone and like, I need 35 more minutes.
I told every joke I'd ever written, including open mic jokes. And I remember the clock on the stage counted down from 45.
Oh, yeah, right. Do that.
And the last word of the last joke, it was like 45 minutes exactly. I go, good night, everybody.
Yeah. Wow. And you, by the way, you were performing at Comedy Works. We had not gotten in there. This is like maybe 12, 13 years ago. And
we were in town doing
another show, and then we came over at the end, and you let us come up after you finished, which is like such a weird thing to come up after the headliner is done, but you allowed us to do it, and we had a great set, and then they booked us. So
that's how you got in?
I think there was
you guys are huge, and we know that you would have gotten in eventually, but I will take credit for this.
You take credit for that. So we'll be there the 1st through the 3rd of February. We want to sell those shows out. I love that.
And then we're back to the first club we ever worked. The very first club.
Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, the first weekend.
Gig we ever got paid at a comedy club.
That's in the first weekend in
Royal Oak,
March
Michigan.
in Royal Oak,
Detroit.
Michigan.
Is that a great place?
It's big.
There is a guy who every time I post a gig, I feel so bad. He goes, please come to Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle.
We'll tell you how it is.
I mean,
it's been years.
He's just a fan, and he's just
so
like obsessed
it's
with
in a cool part of Detroit.
Ridley's.
It's in a cool part of Detroit, and we've recently just, after doing a bunch of stuff for University of Michigan, I think we'll have some people who might come see us.
I hope so. So anyway, that's very excited about that. And then Minneapolis Acme at the beginning of April, and then at the end of April, we're doing Moon Tower.
And in May, we're going to be in Salt Lake City doing Wise Guys. All right.
Anyway,
lots of fun
supersklars.com. Can I get into this, please? Let's do this right now. Okay, this is sent in by Professor Demerita at Ann McCarthy.
Nice. Thanks, Ann.
The story comes from September. We're jumping all over the place.
We are.
Here we go. You ready for the headline?
Classic McCarthyism.
Police called to yoga class mistaken for mass killing.
Whoa.
Oh, so corpse pose turned into a whole new meaning.
Thank you.
Oh, I like this.
A yoga class was cut short after a member of the public called the police to report a mass killing after seeing several people lying on the floor. Now, I agree. Someone reports a mass killing, the police can't just be like, nah.
Yeah, whatever.
What are they wearing? Is it a pink dress?
Wait,
But what's this? So some woman like walks out of a Michael's with her bags, goes past a yoga place,
Sees a bunch of people lying on the ground.
looks in and is like,
oh my God, 911, guys.
and she probably bangs, right? And then the teacher is also there. It's like, ignore all
the outside sounds.
This is what you call news brain. That's a person that's been watching CNN 24/7 for like 7 days and then just knows that something horrible.
Or watching every true crime documentary ever. Wait, so Rand, you got to tell your thing about your yoga class, your hot yoga class.
So when I first started doing it, I misheard. Did I say this on this podcast?
Maybe, but
I misheard what the person said. So she was naming all the poses in Sanskrit, and one of them was called Janu Sharasana, but I heard Johnny Sharasana, and to me that was the funniest thing ever. So I'm doing it, and I'm thinking of like Johnny Sharasana is what the guys on The Sopranos called the one guy who did yoga once. He walks over and like, hey, regular Johnny fucking Sharasana over here. Why don't you put your head between your balls?
Why don't you bend over and suck my dick?
I'll put you in corpse pose. Anyway, so I'm now doing this bit for everyone in the class.
You're talking?
Wait,
This
you stand
after
up and start doing
no.
stand-up?
After the class, where everyone's sweaty and hanging
Oh,
out.
okay.
And I'm like, yeah, regular Johnny, fucking. I'm loud and I'm like doing this, like new to the yoga scene. I know not keep my voice down. And the teacher, who has no sense of humor, walks right out. Here's the whole thing I'm saying. It's Janu, and walked right back in the room. And I was like, all right, regular Johnny fucking Giraffe over here. Hey, oh. Participants in the class, which was being held at the Seascape Cafe. Is that where you were a Hasidic Jew in Seascape?
Seagate.
Thank you.
We're very similar.
Okay, at the Seascape.
Now, Seagate is part of the Church of Scientology.
Right.
That
Well,
is,
I will say the yoga scene in Seagate is lacking. It's a bit lacking.
There were 3 TV shows that I think are exactly the same: Farscape, Seagate, and there's one other one.
Stargate?
Stargate, sure.
Stargate, Seascape, and Fargate. Anyway, participants in the class are being held there inside the North Sea Observatory in Chapel St. Leonard's, Skegness, Lincolnshire. We're in the middle. The British
town?
just love to name things.
Oh, this is England.
Yeah, it's England.
We're in the midst of meditation when officers turned up Wednesday night in a Facebook post. God damn you. The cafe said, the cafe is posting this on Facebook.
We are not dead. We are alive.
No mass
Stop
killings
doing
here.
the Johnny Sharasana bit, please.
Someone had reported a mass killing after seeing people on the floor inside the
I
building.
heard somebody at your yoga studio reported a mass killing
That's
after
right.
you did your Johnny Sharasana.
Hey, it's a Johnny Boo.
Side five. Well, side
Thank you. I'll
five
take
between
that
Jefferson
one.
and side five in a
I'll
long
take
time.
that. I took it.
the
We did a
warrior
couple
pose.
today.
How you doing?
In a
He
face.
comes back the next week. Remember me? It's Johnny Sharasana. He's like, not into it, dude.
No, we said no.
What's that dog so down about?
Hey,
Nobody says no to Johnny Sharasana.
hey, look who's here. I'm gonna
Anyway,
make him an
they
offer.
wrote,
he
if
can't
anyone
refuse."
heard the mass of police sirens, you can't use mass of police sirens when describing a mass killing. You're not allowed to use the word
Also,
mass.
it's weird to me that it's murder. I've
Chapel
never heard
St. Leonard's-
mass killing.
In Chapel St. Leonard's, at what time? What time?
3
did
o'clock in the afternoon.
3 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yes.
9
You need
a.m.
the sirens if everyone's dead. Just kind of slowly go over there and be like, oh,
Knock some
too
people.
late anyway.
Put the mirror up and then see. You say 3. You
9
say 9
a.m.
a.m. 10:30 a.m. Get your answers in townies.
10:57.
This thing took place at 9:30 p.m. last night. Please be reassured. They were on their way to the observatory after someone reported a mass killing in our building, having seen several people laying on the floor, which actually turned out to be a yoga class in meditation. This person just saw a documentary about Jonestown.
Yeah,
It was like
that's it.
everyone drank the
Absolutely,
Kool-Aid
yes.
and that's the end.
It's news brain, y'all.
Yeah.
Which,
that
by,
is
can we
100%.
stop using "we drank the Kool-Aid" as like a thing about like, yeah, we really drank the Kool-Aid about that in the corporate office, like
We drank the Kool-Aid
put it on that memo. Everyone died, women and children.
You
and
forced your children to watch as
mass
your children
suicide?
died.
Okay, good.
The Facebook, we are not part of any mad cult or crazy clubs, they said. All in all, the situation turned out positive, and we are, of course, grateful. Grateful to who? Who are you grateful to?
Careful that nobody's not dead.
Look, the North Sea Observatory has a large triangular windows that face the sea. A Facebook post on the cafe's page say the venue holds new moon yoga classes on Wednesdays from 7:30 to 9. You know, they were like, guys, you
Yeah.
can sign up now.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
they use it
yeah.
as a way
Turns
to
into a
promote
pitch.
it. Where you can feel called to deep dive into our lunar cycle. Now it's like,
That's having sex on the period?
thank you.
Hey,
Is that what a deep dive into the lunar cycle is?
That's right.
That's what that
Pictures in the post yoga
The
show.
tide
man.
is high.
Show-
Call that the strawberry dip.
The Little Dipper. More like the Big Dipper.
Like the Little Dipper. Lincolnshire police confirmed to the PA news agency that the call was made at 8:56 with good intentions. A spokesperson, so it wasn't like hey, you should
A
get over
prank.
it.
Yeah,
It
but there's
wasn't
a
a
part of me that
prank.
feels like you do fine them. Just
Yeah.
this, like some sort, like a $50
They
fine
have
for
to
being
now
a
then
fucking
say
idiot.
what you got to check that out after you see that it's just
Yes.
a yoga class, because now you're like, is this person dumb, and do they not see that there's yoga? Like, wouldn't you go through all the things before you
Before you
call
got
the
to mass
police?
killing?
This is the thing that like,
How about a knock on the window? Hey, you guys all dead? No? Okay.
Okay.
someone just make someone fart, just do anything to just make a noise.
And you do Cobra and get up and look at her and go, I got a bit I could do.
Look at me, I'm a snake.
This is the only Cobra I don't pay for, okay? All right, a call
My
was
favorite Cobra was Stallone.
What's the copay on this, bitch? All right. A call was made following concerns for the occupants of the North Sea Observatory. They said officers attended. We're happy to report everyone was safe and well. To me, I would have loved it if the officers all laid down and took a picture with them as well. But
Sure, of
apparently
course.
they did not.
No, they did not.
That's it. Just a stupid
What a dummy.
people. Just
Dummy.
check.
What a dummy.
Knock
Dumb dummies.
twice.
Knock
Check
twice.
twice before you do the thing that is the
Measure
thing that-
twice, cut once, motherfucker.
That's it.
Are you dead?
Are you
No.
dead? Nope.
Keep on stretching.
Continue.
Are you a tree? Oh, that's just tree pose? Okay, good.
regular fucking tree pose? All
The
right.
book.
The book.
Subculture Vulture.
If you like the mafia.
You
I
like
love-
Actually,
this
there is
book.
crime in this book.
And I love how there's
What, your
again,
crime? You committed
Well,
crime?
when I got into the rave thing, I very quickly started throwing my own parties, DJing, and then eventually I became maybe the world's only teenage clean and sober ecstasy dealer.
Hey now.
Wow.
And that was how I made my living, is selling ecstasy pills for a
You've
few
never
years
made
in the
as
rave
much
scene.
money in your life. That was the good old days. Well, you were driving a nice car at that point.
Well, you know, they called me and they said they want you to sell drugs, and I said, really, for who? And they said, no, they want you to headline.
Yeah.
Can you do it for 45 minutes?
I only have.
Do you have 45 ecstasy pills? And I was like, yes, I do.
Just like I just got 45.
Pick it up. Love you, Moshe. Thanks for coming
Love you,
on.
and
This
thank you
is
for
so
having
great. And to all our fans, oh shit, we got to get back to work.
Stick around, make a sound. There's more Dumb People Town.